What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Elks Call with the Elks Herd. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Katherine, aka Do You Even Elks? And we also have Luna, as always.
Game Day Luna. And today we're extremely excited to feature you guys as our special guest. Today we're going to be doing our fan forum format. So we're going to be talking with the live viewers. We're going to be taking in everybody from the live chat, and we're also going to be welcoming you guys onto the show if you want. You guys can come right into the Elks Herd with us, right into the Elks Call with the herd, and join the show. So we're gonna go through the show here this week. The Elks are taking on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We're 0-8 going into week 10, game number 9 for the Edmonton Elks. So unfortunately, it doesn't look exactly the greatest, but there's still optimism. We got Trey Ford in there, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about that here in a bit. So today we're going to reflect also on the changes this week, and then we're going to open up our fan forum. So we're going to invite you guys to blow up the chat. Invite you to come onto the show if you really want. Big shout out to Steve Benassi in the chat. We see you out there. And then we're going to talk in that fan forum. We're obviously going to talk about the hot topics right now. So the quarterback change, the attendance. Friend of the show, John Kirby, had mentioned the attendance, so we're actually going to bring that topic in. And then after that, we're going to give you the Edmonton sports update, give you a rundown on a couple of things that have happened recently with Edmonton sports. And then we're going to actually tell you a little bit more about ourselves. This is the Elks Herd special, I guess. So you guys are joining the herd. We want you guys to come into the show as well. So if you want to join the show, give us a DM on Twitter. We're getting the notifications, obviously, or go ahead and say it in the chat. Let us know in the chat that you'd like to join. We'll have you on for a couple minutes, and you can actually discuss these topics with us. So Katherine, lead us away with the changes this week.
Yeah, definitely. We usually have our segment of, talking about the game last week, but we didn't have that. We were in a nice little bye week, which means that we didn't get to lose this week, and it was great.
Yeah, so no losses.
There is no updates on that end, but we did see some changes that will affect tomorrow's game. So let's talk about those. We did see one release, which was Canadian Mario Villamizar. I'm going to say it the way that it's supposed to be.
Villamizar.
He is the fullback, Canadian fullback. We did see him being released.
Yeah.
Couple of injuries. We do have Tanner Green, fullback, out with a hamstring injury, as well as Gino Lewis still out.
Yeah, and as per Dave Campbell on 630 Ched, Dave Campbell had indicated that these two gentlemen may be coming back for next game. The game after the Winnipeg game would be Hamilton, yeah. So that would be really, really big to have them back for that one. And then I believe at the end of August, we also have a home game against the Ottawa Red Blacks. So a little bit of a challenge here to come back from the bye, but there is hope after that one game. For those next two games following, there is hope that the Edmonton Elks may pick up some steam, and it all starts with this game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Because we also have receiver Manny Arsenault coming back, and of course defensive back Ed Gainey. So those are two huge returns. Definitely a game that we would need them for.
Yes.
If we even stand a little bit of a chance. So.
Yep. Well, and exactly like you said, if we stand a little bit of a chance, I mean, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, there's a really good chance that we get rolled by them, but you probably have some players to watch in this one, so.
Yeah. Well, for myself, I would say Dylan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Who I know loves playing against the Bombers. So that is definitely a plus. And I know that he will be Ford's main target out there with Trey Ford coming back. So His stats make him a really good player to watch. I know he has over 100 yards receiving and scored touchdowns with receptions each game of at least 59 yards. So those are all stats that make him a really, really good player to watch and see how that chemistry works. Right now that we're gonna have a new quarterback,
Yeah.
That's
Well, and
yeah.
Dylan Mitchell, of note to that, right? Dylan Mitchell actually had chemistry with Ford last year. Oh, Justice Smoke in the chat. What's up, Justice Smoke? But I mean, Trey Ford had chemistry with
Mhm.
Dylan Mitchell last year, so
Mhm.
yeah, they might be getting right back to something that they started last year, right? And Dylan Mitchell's hungry this year. Dylan Mitchell is definitely a hungry guy, so he already, walked into the season saying, "I want 1,000-yard season.
Mhm.
I want a 2,000-yard season." Like he was trying to go hard right off the top. So if Trey Ford comes in and can get him the ball, definitely a huge player to watch for this next game.
Definitely. And I mean, for somebody that also has something to prove, we also have Manny Arsenault, right? As coming back, helping the offense because we all know that the offense needs a little bit of help. And he definitely is the person to do that. And, as per the Edmonton Elks website, we did see this. He is a CFL West All Star, that he
Yeah.
just needs 34 receiving yards to become the 30th player in CFL history to join the 9,000 receiving yard club.
Okay, so
So
that is
he's
very obtainable in the next game.
yes,
Very
and
obtainable.
he's 2 touchdown receptions from becoming the 30th player in the league history to have 60 touchdown catches.
Okay.
And he is closing in on cracking the top 20 for the most receptions all time. So he has some goals. He has something to prove. He has, stats that he wants to get. So I think we're going to see some really good games for him.
Well, exactly. And with him having milestones right around the corner, he's going to perform for those milestones. Now, on the subject of Manny Arsenault, it's very interesting because what we saw today on Twitter was somebody was really questioning what Manny Arsenault is going to bring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we know and what we saw was that he's a blocker. He's going to be able to block. He's going to be able to catch the ball. Obviously, steady hands. I think there was at some point last year where he was the best receiver on the team because of his performance.
Yeah.
So Manny Arsenault is definitely a big one to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm
No,
definitely
totally.
excited. So we'll see. I mean, we'll get more into our expectations for next game in a little bit, but I think for me, those would be my 2 players to watch.
Yep.
For sure.
No, well, and I mean, I guess I can go ahead and say the obvious in Trey Ford. Trey Ford is the one player to watch, right? With Trey Ford, we know that he's going to be coming into a Jarius Jackson brand new, fresh offense. He's in a brand new scenario and a brand new. He's going to be taking different play calls. They're doing play designing. They're restructuring that offense under Jarius Jackson. And with that, you have Jarius Jackson trying to make an offense geared towards Trey Ford.
Mhm.
So we're starting to see something different and something that we haven't seen for the last while, in which, with the McAdoo offense, or as we said, the Macadon't offense, at times it was coined. Uh, yeah, I mean, we're going to see something that we have not seen in a while, and I'm really hoping that we see a new playbook. I'm hoping that we see installs. I'm hoping that we see fresh, fresh offense.
Yeah.
No more run first offense. I mean, we've seen the run first offense for so long now. Without that O line, you have to restructure that offense, right? So that's a big one. And then Luchez Purifoy. I think Luchez Purifoy, if I'm going to go ahead and name a second player, Luchez Purifoy has been lights out in most of his games. I believe that Luch is definitely a cog on that defense. I think he's one of the biggest players in the game out there for the Edmonton Elks right now. So Luchez Purifoy, definitely want to see him ball out in this game. I'm not going to say that there's going to be a TSN turning point or a key to the game or anything like that, because we're going into a very tough game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Definitely.
Over here in the chat, Stephen Nassy, hey, with Ford starting and us having nothing to lose, who knows? That's
very true.
Very true, right? We're talking about something that we have not seen yet, which is the Jarius Jackson offense fully taking control with a Trey Ford at the helm.
We have absolutely nothing to lose.
It's almost like regular season game 1. Except we're handicapped by around like 3 or 4 wins. So, then Steve also said, I enjoyed watching Ford last year and then he got hurt. Yeah, I mean, that's football, right? Our good friend Jamin has been, absolutely crushing it for the last while without injury.
Yes.
And at a year and a half.
He was definitely another player to watch, right? I mean, when it came to that position, and it's just very unfortunate when a lot of these injuries happen so early in the season as well.
Yeah, very, very frustrating. You never want to see your team get decimated, especially when you're already down by however many losses.
Yeah.
You're already behind the 8 ball. So when all of a sudden now we're seeing injuries, it's insult to injury, really, right? So it's good to see. It's good to see us get healthy at this time where we need to reinvigorate this team completely.
Yeah, but it actually comes at a really good time, right? So a lot of the guys that were out for a few games, they were on the 6-game injury list. They didn't necessarily get to play in the team that was playing out there in the field. So now that things are starting to change up in the top, with a different office coordinator, then who knows, right? Now you have a new team, a new invigorated team. You have, like you say, hopefully new installs, hopefully new plays, something not so predictable.
Yeah.
With healthy, guys coming back, hungry for it. So should be exciting.
Totally. And we're really hoping that the team is coming in hungry for this one, right? You got a bunch of fans that are upset right now. You have nothing but memes. There's lack of memes. We can't even make memes right now to support what the Elks are doing on the field, right? So
we can, but then we're going against our own brand.
Exactly. No, you are correct, Catherine. So let's dig into the fan forum. Let's start it up. Let's open up the chat line here. We're going to talk about a couple of topics. This is our new segment called the Fan Forum. So we're going to talk about these topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks, and our live listeners will get to chime in on each topic that we discuss. So I guess we'll dig right in. Make sure everybody comments in the live chat after we ask a question, and we'll look at the chat after the two of us have answered. As well, if you would like to join the show as a live guest, definitely let us know in the chat. Send us a DM on Twitter, and we will get you the link. All right. So our first topic is on the change at starting quarterback. The same thing that we've been talking about for a minute now.
Yeah. That's the talk of the town.
It's the talk of the town. It's been the talk of CFL, Twitter, social media. Everybody hashtag free Trey Ford. Welcome John Kirby to the chat. All right, guys. So with Trey Ford coming in at probably one of the toughest times for a starting quarterback, especially somebody that has not got any starting reps yet in the regular season. Fans have been saying that this is setting Trey Ford up for failure. Okay. So fans are saying that Trey Ford has been set up for failure going into this scenario against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Right. So everybody has said, or, a lot of people on Twitter have said, free Trey Ford, get Trey Ford out there on the field. What have you got to lose? The Edmonton Elks went ahead. They put Trey Ford in. Now people are saying that Trey Ford is being hung out to dry.
Can't win.
Yeah, exactly. So fans are actually believing that Trey Ford is being set up for failure in a scheduled loss scenario, which would be against the contender Winnipeg Blue Bombers. What do you think about the call to start Trey Ford in this scenario?
I'm actually very torn, because I have been torn about this Trey Ford scenario right from the beginning. I think I made it pretty clear in past episodes as well as to how I feel about that, right? Because we haven't seen enough of Trey Ford.
Right.
We have not seen exactly what it is that he can do. Um, when he got his time to shine, and he shone, and he made some fantastic plays, and then unfortunately he was injured. So first of all, we don't know how that injury has affected him in the
Mm-hmm.
long run. Maybe that could be one of the reasons why he actually hadn't gone in, because he was perhaps a little bit hesitant, right? After, and you've seen it with a lot of these guys. You see Aaron Grimes, that he started practicing again. He was he started going out there in the field, and he got re-injured. For
Sure,
somebody
that's a
that
good
is
point.
as young as Trey Ford, that he's just starting his career, he might be a little hesitant about going all out when he suffered a really bad injury, because he doesn't want to aggravate it. He doesn't want to make it worse and then have his career completely end so early. Right? So that's one of the things that I have thought about, that maybe that's why he's not going all out. Maybe that's why Chris Jones said that he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Maybe he was putting that little bit of pressure in himself and kind of holding himself back because he doesn't want to get re-injured. That being said, now he's being put in a situation that he can show what he's got. So I personally don't believe that he's being set up for, as for failure or anything like that. He signed up for this. This is his job.
Yeah.
This is his time to shine. Unfortunately, the circumstances are, if one person is not performing in your team, hey, you're up, right? We're paying you to do your job. At, that's bottom line. Now it's his turn, right? So whether it is being thrown into the wolves, or if they expect something like failure, well, that perhaps shouldn't be the mentality that he himself should be going into it with, because otherwise it's just not going to be successful.
Right.
um but I think it was a necessary change.
Yeah, and I would agree with that because Trey Ford, and you bring up a really good point. I'm happy that you brought that up. Maybe he does have a little bit of trepidation a little bit of trepidation,
Yeah,
right?
he's hesitant.
He's very very hesitant to make it in. Maybe because of his injury last year, he doesn't want to go through this scenario again, right? That's fair. That's fair. I know that's kind of like being a dirt biker. I One of my favorite hobbies when I actually get a chance to is to go dirt biking. Now, once you get in an injury or you injure yourself on your dirt bike, you suddenly look at things a little bit differently, and suddenly you're not so gung ho to take a jump or to do a wheelie or to do certain things, right? Now, on the flip side of that, Trey Ford is indeed paid to do a job. And if you want to be the starting quarterback, and if you really want to grab the elk by the
Oh,
horns,
wow. Okay.
if you really want to grab the elk by the horns here, Trey Ford is going to go in and do the best that he possibly can to get the team a win. Now, that's not saying that every other quarterback that has been in has not done that,
Yeah.
right? The difference is now we're talking about an offense that is designed by Jarius Jackson, not an offense that's designed by Stephen McAdoo. We don't know what we're going to see. Who knows? Maybe we actually see a run first offense again, and maybe we all feel insane again, right?
Well, didn't Trey Ford win that game against Winnipeg last year? Oh yeah, I'm
Uh,
pretty sure, because he was playing against his brother. I was watching a couple
no,
of was that
I don't believe we won that one.
I
No, no. Saskatchewan, we won.
yeah,
I don't know about that. Or, yeah, I really don't know,
I
actually.
don't remember.
Was it preseason?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Preseason.
Was it
It
preseason?
was preseason because we won in Winnipeg preseason.
No.
I remember that game. Okay, so into the chat here. So Chris Jones by John Kirby. Chris Jones did say they could use the other two quarterbacks Thursday. Now, I don't necessarily believe that we will see too much of Daggy, and if we do it, maybe in the second half of the game if Trey Ford absolutely flops,
Absolutely flops,
right?
yes.
Steve Benassi here. I don't think he's being hung out to dry. If he plays badly, it won't be any worse than the other two quarterbacks. Now, the point I'd like to make on that is our offensive line is Swiss cheese. So until you fix that offensive line, I don't know how much success you're going to see at quarterback. Now, as the offensive play caller, your job is to work around that problem offensive line. You have to make chicken soup out of chicken, you know what. And I'm hoping Jerry Jackson can do it. I'm not necessarily sold. Stephen Assey also said, he also said, here's my worry. If the Elks win with Ford, I'm worried that the fans will be calling for Jones' head for not playing him sooner. Now, who knows? I really don't know exactly what the structure is when it comes to coaching. How much, as quarterbacks coach, how much did Jarius Jackson have say in moving a guy into that starting role? How much did McAdoo have as a say, right? Because a lot of people have noticed that all of a sudden McAdoo is out at offense and Trey Ford is all of a sudden starting quarterback. So how the heck did that happen? Is this a McAdoo issue?
Yeah, instead of a Chris Jones. I thought about that too.
Yeah, so people have wondered, right? And then is it Chris Jones's responsibility for setting Trey Ford in there as starter? And Chris Jones has already said, as we've talked about on the show before, apparently Trey Ford is not practicing up to his standards or up to general standards as a football player or as a starting quarterback even, because that's the role that everybody is fighting for here. So if Chris Jones believes that truly, maybe that decision ends with Chris Jones, right? Unfortunately, I do not know the definitive on that. I do not know the straight up answer on it. What we do know is Jerry Jackson is coming in to deliver a fresh breath of air to this offense that it really, really needs.
Yeah, definitely. We do have a question here by John. So if we win tomorrow, will Trey Ford start next game? Or is it tomorrow the only time that we will see Trey Ford starting? I believe that he will. I mean, if he performs, he will continue in that position. 100%. It's like you say, it's kind of like a battle for quarterback QB1.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it could also be a matter of which position they play best. Right? I mean, they put Cornelius in QB3, but he's also the short yardage quarterback, right? So it might be more of which strength they have. And perhaps if we're placed in a situation, maybe like we have seen before of garbage time and we just need to do something, then maybe they'll bring Diggy in because he seems to be really good at those, specific situations. Then it might be something like that we just kind of rotate between quarterbacks depending on the play that they want to do.
Yeah, well, and performance, right? You said it earlier, performance. That's going to be the key word is performance, because if Trey Ford does not get the win, but Trey Ford puts up 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 50 yards running, and 250 yards passing, let's just say. In the dream scenario, that's what you're hoping for from Trey Ford tomorrow. You're not hoping for a win. I think going in, you should hope, you should not expect a win. You should always hope for a win, but you should never expect a win in this scenario. Fresh quarterback coming in, hasn't played a snap this year, against the best team in the West for sure right now.
Yep.
Definitely over the BC Lions, I think. So expecting a win out of Trey Ford is not the that's not the answer, and that's not the ideal mindset.
Especially against the Winnipeg Bombers, let's be real.
Yeah.
Right? It's not putting him out, for failure, out to the wolves or whatever that saying is.
Hanging out to dry.
It's not bad, but it's just our expectations as fans of him.
Yeah.
If we go in saying that, okay, just because we change quarterbacks, we suddenly are going to beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, that's being delusional.
Yeah.
Right? That's not, that's putting too much pressure on a player where everybody should be, rational enough to understand that as a team, as a whole, we're not in a position to necessarily beat the Blue Bombers unless something happens that is just magical, and we do.
Yeah. No, and I think this team can. It's what we
We
talked
could.
about on the last episode. On paper, this team looked good going in. This team looked competitive on paper. Sure, there was a couple holes and a couple gaps, but overall, this team did not look bad on paper.
Mhm.
What has looked bad is 0-8. So we need changes, and we need changes now.
Yes.
They've made 2 changes. They've made a couple of other changes as well. We have guys coming in. So there's hope. There's once again hope. I don't know if there's hope in this game. We're obviously gonna show up. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna cheer on. We're gonna make some noise. We're gonna make some noise like we always do. However, our expectations have once again been checked.
I think that's the healthiest thing that we can do for our own mental health. Let's just
exactly. Yeah, so if Ford wins, as per Steve Benassi here, if Ford wins and they don't play him the next game, oh the Lord, the fans would go crazy. Yeah, the fans would. I don't see that scenario happening though. There's no way. $2 hot dogs, Steve Benassi again. Yes. Yes, well, the 2. Oh, and John Kirby,
yeah. That kind of takes us to the next topic too.
Yes, because I see that other one in there. Okay, so Edmonton Elks fans have started to shy away from Edmonton Elks games, mostly due to losses at home. The Elks are projected to have around 18,000, 19,000 K in attendance for tomorrow's game. Is this problem bigger than the home losing streak? Like, the Edmonton Elks are going into a game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Like, it's a tough game against a contender. We're talking about a contender. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a Thursday night game. There's good potential that the Elks get a butt whooping to go 0-9, which is definitely the worst start. And I think that's the worst start for any CFL team. I don't know what the stat is. We'd have to talk to Mike Newton.
I'm sure there's a lot of people online on Twitter that will give you that stat.
Yeah. So definitely tough. But that being said, is this problem with attendance, which 19,000 in my opinion is not a problem. I think if you're a team in this state and you're getting 19,000 fans, I think you're doing okay, but
well, I mean, first of all, I'm not surprised. I can't blame them. Right. I mean, we have said it before, the team needs to win. If they want to see people coming back into the stands, all it requires is a win. Right. And I think it only requires one win to start bringing people and bringing hope and, bringing them back. But that being said, the attendance hasn't been as bad as some other teams, if you really think about it.
No, we had 24,000 at the last game. 24,000 at a game that your team is more than likely going to break a North American record.
Yes.
Right? A North American losing home streak record.
We've said it before. Maybe it is that instance of, bad press is good press, and people are just showing up to see what is going to happen next. Are they going to be, either way, they're going to be part of history, whether it is winning or losing. So, but I mean, it's like you said too, tomorrow's game is, Thursday game. Like, who wants to, like, for myself, like, I hate the idea of going to a game late at night, coming back, going to sleep, and having to work the next day. Game day has always been some sort of ritual to us, and it's, a full day thing, and we come back and either we're sad afterwards or we're still, excited about everything that happened up to the game, and you just don't really get that on a Thursday game.
No, and with a Thursday game as well, right? You wake up, we're all humans here. Like, we're all working humans that are out there. Maybe we do have some rich viewers that do not have to go to work every day, and they get to go to like the Royal Mayfair Golf Club and go live that life. And trust me, I wish I was there.
But us common folk.
But us common, us peasants. we gotta wake up. We gotta go to work. I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. We have real life things that are happening on a Thursday, right? So we we gotta go through our daily work life ritual tomorrow. And then as soon as I'm done my dentist appointment, I gotta rip over, go grab my truck, come back here, pack up, and we're gonna go down to the tailgate. Everything leading up to the tailgate is an absolute chaotic mess for us because of how much we're running around, right? So if we're feeling like that, a lot of our other fellow fans that are out there in the tailgate are also trying to get some form of game day vibe going.
Yeah.
They're feeling it too, right?
Well, definitely. And I mean, I know just as Steve, I'm just going to show Steve Nassie's comment here. That he says that I think that Victor and management are doing the right things. Obviously, if the team starts winning, the walk-ups will return. But for now, they're really trying. I mean, this whole $2 hot dog thing. I mean, what else are you gonna do to bring people in on a Thursday night? Let's throw in some $2 hot dogs and really get that going.
Totally, which it's funny because that's kind of like a page out of the Toronto Blue Jays book, right? They started doing the Looney Dog nights. They started getting people in on like a Monday, Tuesday night. I believe it's Toonie Tuesdays as well, right? They're trying to get people in however they can. Now on a Thursday night, there's the stigma around it. People are not the biggest fan of a Thursday night game. We all got to wake up and we all got to go to work the next day after working and then going to the game. Now, Sundays, there's a whole game day tradition around it. Right? Sunday, there's like a whole Sunday football, NFL, America, red, white, and blue. There's like a whole thing down in the States with Sunday games. We don't have that yet. Saturday games, there's like our ideal thing, and then Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights is universal. Everybody loves Friday Night Lights. So, do I think, by the way, shout out once again to everybody that's watching right now. Our good friend Patrick. My good friend Patrick is watching, so shout out Patrick.
And yeah, just like John says, Thursday plus weather because we are also expecting some rain.
Yeah, thunderstorms apparently. Thunderstorms apparently are going to be rolling in tomorrow, so bring your ponchos, bring all your rain gear. From what I saw last time, from when I checked last on the Weather Channel, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of rain right at the beginning of it, and it should clear up. But we live in Edmonton. Never trust the weather forecast.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
And either way, the hot dogs are cheap enough that you can just cover yourself up with a whole lot of them.
The hot dog poncho.
Gross.
So, I guess we've kind of talked about our last topic already. But what is your true expectations out of Trey Ford and the Edmonton Elks for tomorrow's game?
Well, I don't think we're going to win. I don't think we're going to win. I'm being realistic. I am being just honest as to what I have seen and what I'm expecting. I mean, even with changes, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to find that chemistry. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to really get things going, get used to the new coaching position, to the new plays. So it might still be a little, choppy tomorrow, if that's the word. But
well, and I think improvement, right?
Yeah.
Improvement is the number one thing that we're really looking for from this team. To score a point, Steve Benassi, yes, that's all that we're hoping for tomorrow.
Know what? As long as we get a point, I'll be happy.
Just give us one. Even give us a rouge. Just give us a rouge, please.
That's all we ask for. Let's just not end on a shutout, and we'll take that as improvement from last game.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the last game, right? It was a shutout at home. You can't really get much worse than a shutout at home. So anything is improvement, including a rouge. Jake Julian, Dean Faithful, even Trey Ford himself. We really don't care who gets the first point and how they get it. All we know is that we need points at home. So that's a good expectation from Steve Benassi there.
Thanks, Steve.
You're
just setting the bar real low.
a good friend of ours, JP here. They need a miracle and to go to game. They need a miracle and go to a game. They need to have like 75% off all merch. We appreciate the opinion, JP. Unfortunately, I don't think the Elks can necessarily afford a 75% off fire sale.
Yeah.
0 points was tough, Steve. It was. The mini helmet, yes. So let's talk about that real quick. The Edmonton Elks have just unveiled last week the new Indigenous logo that they will be using. The BC Lions have used an Indigenous logo. A lot of other teams have got in on that. It's a great way to celebrate Indigenous folk, right?
Yep.
Now, with that logo, it's a very, very beautiful logo. We do actually have the inside scoop. We have just received a message from one of our friends at the Edmonton Elks team store. We're going to tell you right now exactly what they're going to be selling tomorrow.
Oh, he's going to reach for his phone.
It's a leak.
It's just exclusive at the Elks
Elks
Call.
Herd exclusive. Elks Call exclusive.
Same thing.
All right, so it looks like they're going to have t-shirts, full-size helmet decals, possibly coffee mugs. So that's not confirmed yet. The coffee mugs is not confirmed. And then mini helmets and hoodies are online order only.
Oh, that's
so
good to
they're
know.
online exclusives. We're going to post that obviously as soon as we get off of the Elks Call here. We're going to be posting up about that. The logo is fresh, JP. It is a very beautiful logo. We expect all of this gear to sell out.
Definitely. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I logged into the website today just to see what the merch was going to look like, and there were no pictures whatsoever.
No. So we went. I actually ended up going down to the team store. So Katherine was doing the online merch scoop. She's looking for that scoop. And I was in the team store today.
We take our job seriously.
Very, very
unpaid jobs.
We do not get paid. It is beautiful. So, anyways, we ended up actually getting all of this information today. We were told that it was going to happen basically on game day, so that's why we told everybody that earlier on in the week.
John here says that they hope to have it by noon.
Yeah. So, and that's also what I heard today was that they're still receiving the shipments for everything. So they rushed really hard to get all that merch in. It's gonna be some pretty hot items. So you will be able to find it in the team store. Most of it though is gonna be up in the concession. So if the team store runs out, you have to be in Commonwealth Stadium to get the rest of that gear. Oh, nice. Mick Aussie's in the chat. What up, Mick? Mick also brings up a really good point that we just want to quickly touch on. The fan incident last week that ended up happening. A fan was kicked out that was wearing a bag on their head. We also heard
it was multiple fans actually. Sorry to interrupt.
That were kicked out.
I think there were a couple of groups that multiple individuals were kicked out for wearing a bag over their head.
Right, but it wasn't necessarily the bag over the head. Yep. It was because of the fact that they were yelling obscenities at everybody around them. In the video that went viral and the article and everything else, everything surrounding that incident, what the people didn't see, or a lot of people didn't even realize, that's a section of long time Edmonton Elks and Edmonton Eskimos fans. Those people have been through a lot, and there is a lot that you can do before they get to that reaction.
Yeah.
The reason why they reacted in that way is because that individual was actually yelling obscenities, and I think we heard something through the grapevine, potentially through security on that.
And I actually heard it. Remember last week on the Elks Call, we touched on that subject a little bit.
Right.
And I said that while I'm not going to tell anybody how to fan, if somebody wants to express their displeasure and how unhappy they are with the team by putting a bag over their head, whatever, that's their prerogative. You do you.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and the problem that I had with that whole situation was the disrespect, right? So now when you start acting out, when you start, perhaps you've had a little too much to drink, perhaps you let your anger get the best of you. whatever the situation may be, but once you start disrespecting those people around you
Yeah.
and you start doing certain things that other people may think offensive, now that's beyond just having a bag over your head.
Well, exactly. And even to bring up the fact that obviously Mick is in here, but also the fact that Mick had his bag out, he was making a video on it. We were in it. I kind of like laughed and shook my head in the background or whatever. It was fun. That's Mick was doing his thing. He's making a joke out there, and he wasn't being disrespectful. He wasn't saying any swears. He wasn't calling anybody down for what they were doing. Mick was just standing outside of Commonwealth Stadium making a joke about selling paper bags, right? Do your thing, chicken wing. That's cool. You do whatever you want because you're not harming any other fans. But as soon as you wear a bag on your head and then you use that as an excuse to hide your face and yell obscenities and to call people down, well, now we have a problem. John Kirby here. Yeah.
Well, John, that's what I was going to say. He just says that the fan is coming back tomorrow. He says that he's been doing it all season with no issues. So what changed?
Yeah, something had to have changed, right?
Right. So, and again, we've seen it before. We've seen it in our section, in other sections, walking around the concourse. People have a little too much to drink. They get into this, kind of way about them that they start, especially in a group kind of environment, right? If you have several people that have their backs over their heads, they've had a little too many drinks, and they start yelling and they start screaming, and it turns into more and more. And if people are telling them to shut up and they get offended, it can escalate really, really quickly. So at the same time, this is not Edmonton Elks issue, right? Security and everything is run by the city. So if they were told to get out, it's not by the organization, it's not security is run by the city.
Well, and to bring up a point on that, we had an incident with security at the first game of the season this year, our first home game. I was blowing my horn. Security came down and told me that I couldn't blow the horn.
That they were banned. That it was on the website. That she said that it was on the website that they had been banned. So I went upstairs. I wanted some popcorn, and I looked at the team store that they have at the concessions, and I saw that they were selling the horns. So I approached them and I said, "Hey, how come they told us that these are banned if you guys are still selling them?" And it was the workers, the Edmonton Elks workers, that told us that that was incorrect, that that was not something that the website said, that whoever told us that did not have the right information.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Elks went ahead and corrected that action immediately, right?
Mhm.
If you actually go talk to the Edmonton Elks, which when somebody's getting kicked out, the Edmonton Elks don't point at somebody and say, "Hey, remove this guy."
Mhm.
Security does that. The Edmonton Elks aren't out here to refrain you from sitting in seats when they really need fans in the seats.
Even if you're 3 sheets to the wind, as you were saying, they rely on that in the beer sales to make some money this year. So I guarantee you that they're not going to be the ones telling you to stop purchasing their beverages and food.
No. Well, let's be real too, right? This team does not need any more negative press. This team is already in the dirt in the media's views and eyes and feet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this team cannot get many wins right now at all. So the media is watching over this team like hawks, and that's fair. But bad press is good press, as we just said. So if this were the Edmonton Elks, they would have had to have an extremely good reason to get rid of this fan in order to take on the bad press. Because they cannot handle any more hits. They do not want any more negative press, right? They cannot handle this anymore. So
all I gotta say is, if you want to wear a bag over your head and show your displeasure for the team, by all means, just as I said it before, don't be an a-hole.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, exactly. Don't be yelling obscenities. Do your thing. We see it as a peaceful protest.
Yeah.
Honestly, anybody wearing the bags on their heads, it's a peaceful protest. You're not supposed to be yelling obscenities at people. You're not supposed to be discouraging other people from showing their fandom or anything like that. It's not our preferred way to peacefully protest. We're still going to go to the games and just probably cry looking at the orange lights at the scoreboard at Commonwealth Stadium. Those same lights, little LEDs that have haunted us for since 2019, realistically. But sorry, I got a little bit dark there. But no, but do you in the land of fan protest? You do you. But as long as you're not infringing upon anybody else's experience, then you're good.
Yeah. And like Steve says, it is a family
It's
event.
a family event.
Like,
yep.
just keep in mind that there's kids running around.
Yep.
Right? They're everywhere.
Hey, like, I'm no saint. I have definitely had my Western Conference, Western Final 2015. Definitely had a couple of beers. Definitely swore a little bit after we got the win against the Stampeders. I definitely swore a little bit after that, and that was to the sky. And it was not directed to anybody in front of me, right? I ain't no saint. I'm sure I'm gonna have another swear that slips out at some point in the stands as well. But we aren't trucker mouths. We don't spew that, and especially because there's so many kids in our section.
Yeah.
Section X, there's a lot of the opposition's families right around us. There's a family. There's been a family in our area every single game.
Yeah.
So there's no need to be yelling obscenities or to be calling anybody else down or out. Alrighty, everybody. So what do we got here for the rest of the chat?
Steve, I wasn't crying. It was the onions and the hot dogs. That's what Scout says all the time too.
Yes, exactly. And to let everybody know, for tomorrow's Edmonton Elks tailgate party, we are doing smoked meatball subs with sauce from live listener Steve Benassi. So Steve Benassi brought us some awesome tomato sauce, some awesome pasta sauce. We're going to use that.
They are in the smoker as we speak.
We are currently smoking meat while we are doing the podcast. So it's going to be freshly smoked within 24 hours. We're very, very excited to hopefully feed everybody, especially with the weather being pretty wet tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to have a warm, a belly warmer. A belly warmer.
It'll be great. It'll be great.
It'll be good.
So.
All right, our fan forum is officially closed. Guys, that was good. That was fun. Thank you. Thank you to everybody in the chat as well. Obviously, keep chatting. We're going to be reading through your messages here. Next up, it is the Edmonton Sports Update. Alrighty. So the Edmonton Stingers are officially out of the CEBL playoffs at the hands of the Calgary Surge. We will keep you updated on future episodes about Edmonton Stingers news and highlights. The Edmonton Riverhawks are also done for the season. The Hawks went 11-16 to finish 6th in the North Division. Their season wrapped up with a record attendance of over 100,000 fans.
It was great.
Congratulations, Edmonton.
They did wonders for the Edmonton economy this summer.
Jokes we can't see. And the Sherwood Park Crusaders and the Elks Herd have an exciting announcement coming soon. Stay tuned to our socials for this update. We are the Elks Herd. You're up to date. Yay. All right. So just like on the radio station that may not be named 1260. We got our own little commercial break here, which is where I talk about our affiliates. Massive. RoyalRetros.com. We got 10% off for you to celebrate the USFL Birmingham Stallions winning the 2023 championship. Go ahead and use code STAMPEDE for that 10% off. Giddy up. And then Things Engraved is the official merchandise supplier for the Elks Herd. So, and Shotgun Sports as well. So head on over to Things Engraved. We always have the link in the descriptions. There's always something on sale over at Things Engraved. Like, I'll check the catalog and I'll take a look with our little, it's got an elk on the front and everything. They did a great job over there. And I'll check, and there's like a random thing on sale every single time. And sometimes it's 10% off, 20% off. Go ahead and check it out. Support the herd. And then we have a new affiliate announcement. Canadian soap manufacturer Lather.
Scout is very excited about this.
Oh, Lather, guys. We actually have a video on our YouTube channel. We reviewed Lather soaps. They sent us a package. It's absolutely amazing. The boys are using cotton candy. I've ran through the sandalwood bourbon, and I'm running through the sandalwood vanilla. So Lather, we get 10% off. I want to say our code is Shotgun Sports 15. We'll get you the code for that, but it's 15% off over at Lather. We'll make sure that we put that in our descriptions going forward as well.
I have never seen somebody so excited about soap, but they do smell great.
They're great. Okay, I'm not going to dig into that.
No.
All right, so for our last segment, we got to talk about us. This is the more you didn't know.
Yeah, and if you have any questions for us,
yeah,
please put them in the chat. I mean, we've been around. We've talked to you person to person,
We're family by now, guys.
Oh,
We're family. We're family.
And yeah, so if you have any questions for us, go ahead. But we will also be talking about very specific topics so that you get to know us a little bit better as well.
You know what's stronger than Jamin Pelly?
What?
Family.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right. So, guys, the more you didn't know, I guess we're going to interview each other. Katherine, what was your defining moment as in becoming a fan of the green and gold?
Oh, that's I mean, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but for those that don't know, I'm actually a very new Edmonton Elks fan. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I started going to games and watching games. So, and this is something so new to me because I had never seen a single sporting event. I had never been to a sporting event. I could not tell you anything about hockey or even soccer, and I'm from Mexico, so that's saying something. And it was a very big change, but I think the defining moment was when I finally went to see a game live, and I am a very what's the word? Like, I like puzzles and I like things like chess, and I like making sense of things in front of me, and seeing a football game made me think of chess, to be honest. and by seeing that and being able to decipher every single play and seeing it from that point of view, it just hooked me. And it was great, and I found it extremely entertaining, and I was absolutely hooked. So that was it. My defining moment was kind of putting the parallel of, football and chess and me trying to decipher the plays and try to understand the game. And then suddenly I was a big fan. I mean, everything else that you see back here came after, thanks to Scout, of course. Big super fan, and I just embraced it. And now it's part of who I am.
Well, and I actually know your introduction to sports in general, so you got to learn hockey and watch
everything
Team Canada. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, so here's hockey. You want to check out football? Here's the Green Bay Packers. And really, I think you actually started watching football watching Packers.
Yes, I did.
So yeah, so you got to see NFL football, and then all of a sudden you got to see Canadian football, which was really good.
So how about you?
My defining moment as a fan of the green and gold, I have talked about this on the Turf District. Shout out to our friends over at the Turf District. Once upon a time, I actually wrote an article about this too. Wow. We're a media company now. This is amazing. Anyways, so I ended up getting a package from my company that I worked for, DSL. They ended up giving me a package for the Edmonton Elks. Came with a shirt. I guess I was working hard enough that I was deserving of the prize, or I was entering a draw, or whatever. So they were like, hey, Edmonton Eskimos tickets, you get this whole prize package with a shirt and everything else. And they ended up sending me to the game, and it was a Riders game, and there's a yellow rally towel, and there's people screaming in my face, and we got beat that game. We definitely got beat that game, but I thought it was just the most amazing experience having been to a hockey game, seeing the 10,000 people. That's cool. 10
Mhm.
to 15,000, 18,000 if it's Rogers Place, but you get to see all those people in that tight little area, and you're like, whoa, like this is a good crowd. So for the Edmonton Eskimos to see 30,000 people, 40,000 people out there, it was just mind blowing. And the horns and the cowbells and the cheering and everything else that went with it, it was just absolutely amazing. So that was really good.
Yeah, we do have a question here by John. If you had to add 3 items to the football stadium to make game day experience better, what would it be?
This is a good question. This is a really good question, John. Uh, hmm. 3 things to make it better. If I had to add, now I'm gonna say replace, because I believe that the sound system definitely needs an upgrade over at Commonwealth Stadium.
I was gonna say.
The building was designed to have a roof, but I do not see a roof coming for Commonwealth Stadium at this point. Grass, natural grass. So then that way you can actually have international friendly competitions between UEFA teams, FIFA. You can still do FIFA qualifiers and everything else, although the plastic pitches is something that Team Canada really likes to play on and they're really comfortable with playing on. Dang, what would be a third one to add to Commonwealth Stadium? I want to say an area for food trucks. I would say an area for food
No, but
trucks.
that would take away from the tailgater.
Okay, then a Rum Hut 2.0. So out in Winnipeg at Investors Group Field, they have something called Rum Hut. Rum Hut 2.0 is obviously the new version of it. Rum Hut 2.0, we need something like that, a little party area, not an area for you to stand in, but something that kind of goes around Commonwealth, Something that people can go out, they're not necessarily watching the game, but they're in the stadium, they're in an area and they're partying. The concourses are old.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And when you're in the concourse, you're in like a brick house. So you're not really getting that full outdoor open air experience that you are when you go to Rum Hut 2.0 in Investors Group Field.
Yes. No, I agree on that. I mean, I have been to Rogers Place and I have been to which one's the one in Toronto that we went to see the Blue
The
Jays?
Sky Dome,
Yes.
Rogers Center.
Rogers Place and Rogers Center. And
you have not been to Rogers Arena yet. You have not been to Rogers
I
Arena
have not. But it was just that. Yeah, I do agree. It does seem kind of a little dungeony in a way, walking around, Commonwealth in the concourse. So maybe adding a little bit of extra lights, adding a little bit of, something just to express it up. And maybe mini donuts on the other side. That would be great.
Nice. So JP, Mexico, look out. John Kirby did ask if we were going to be at Metallica. Yes, we got our 2-day pass. We're definitely going to be there for that. And I think they show a movie in between, by the way. Metallica does a movie
I am so
on the second day in between.
I'm so excited.
John, are you going? How about you tell us in the chat?
Yeah. Also, he did say before we go to that he thinks that game day programs and collector cups would be great. I think game day programs would be great.
Game day programs. So we used to have the Edmonton Sun. Edmonton Sun used to make a game day newspaper, so that when you walk in the doors, when you walk in the gates, you grab your paper, you go sit down in your seat, and you go be old. And I don't care what anybody says. That game day paper, even back in 2013 and 2014, when I first started going to games, the game day paper was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
So yes, I
cool.
agree. And collectible cups. Collectible cups would definitely be something that they can cash in on.
They would sell.
Yeah, imagine every year, not every game. It doesn't have to be every game. Maybe you have 2 different cups in a year, let's say, if you really wanted to add variety. But what if there was a collectible cup, year specific, and there should be one for season ticket holders as well. But what if you had a specific game day cup? You go into the stadium and you can collect that cup, and then in the second half of the season or Labor Day, even Labor Day, make a special one for the Labor Day Classic, right? Something like an elk wrangling a horse, like something that doesn't make it ridiculous, right? Where's the AI? Let's do an AI.
But there's a lot of it.
Yeah. So, but if you did something like that, yes, that would be amazing for sure. Stephen Assey asked, "What province in Mexico are you from?"
I am actually from Mexico City. I was born and raised, and I moved to Canada when I was 14, which is why I have an accent, and sometimes I struggle with words, or if I drink a little too much, the Mexican comes out. But it's yeah, so that's why I know that football is actually a really big thing in Mexico, but I don't come from a family that is very into sports.
Yeah.
So that was the main reason why I was never introduced to sports in general, but once I met this guy, that changed.
Totally. And I guess if I can speak on that real quick, one of the greatest events we've ever been to in Commonwealth Stadium, very relevant. It's still elk-minded conversation.
It was a great event.
So, Canada versus Mexico. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, good. Canada versus Mexico in Commonwealth Stadium. -10 outside. For the 2 days leading up to it, it was nothing but snow. Nothing but snow. Destroying the field. It was just piling up on the field. The Mexican reporters, there's memes going around.
Like, what is this place?
Yeah, and there was a weird hype behind it. It was something that you don't feel very often. Like our Canadian national team is all of a sudden playing the Mexican national team, and it's in Edmonton, and we have a snowstorm. And we were already scheduled for those two games, but Canada was banking on the cold because all of these Canadians they're Canadians. They have ice in their veins. The only way you're going to beat Mexico is if you freeze them out.
Which they did.
And
really,
I mean, to see 40,000 plus show up for that, especially when we had been to so many Edmonton Elks games, right? Katherine and I had been to already the full 2021 or 2022 season, and 2021 without any wins. And Team Canada is coming to play, and they're making it the Ice Teca for the night. Man, was that ever a relief to see a home win at Commonwealth Stadium?
For you, I was still cheering for Mexico.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you didn't get the home win.
But I don't think that I didn't know that there were so many Mexicans here in Edmonton, and I'm pretty sure every single Mexican was in Commonwealth at that point.
Oh yeah,
and it was amazing. It was packed. Nobody cared about the cold.
No,
my parents snuck in some tequila in their bags. It was great.
It was an amazing experience, right? I'd never gotten to see a true soccer football match. I'd never actually gotten to see our national team. I'd watched a couple games on TV, obviously. I was indeed very, very interested, and I had supported them, and I played soccer when I was younger, so this was still something that really mattered to me. But to get to see that match, that was just something that I don't think we're ever going to see again. It's just like when people are talking about the Heritage Classic from 2002, right? Or 2003. No, 2003. That Heritage Classic for everybody, the people talk about it. It's just like the AC/DC 2009. There's certain events that happen at Commonwealth Stadium that are magical. There are certain things. 2015 Western Final, magical. AC/DC 2009, magical. Canada versus Mexico, magical. The Edmonton Elks break the losing streak, magical. I can tell you that every single fan that has endured, just like our fellow fans down in Section X, every other section out there, breaking the losing streak is going to feel like probably like a Grey Cup. And I hate to make that comparison because we are so far from a Grey Cup.
I don't even know what a home win feels like. There you
don't even know what home field advantage
I don't even know what home is.
Yeah.
I have not seen a single home win here in Edmonton for the Edmonton Elks.
No.
So when that happens, like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how people act when there's a win. I don't know what I'm going to see. Right? And I am very excited to see exactly what's gonna go down when that happens. So
So, but you have seen your favorite team win at home, and I know you have. So, why don't you
yes.
tell us about your other teams that you like?
Oh well, I of course the Edmonton Oilers, and that's again, bringing it back to the fact that I am a brand new sports fan.
Right.
Just this is going to be my third year going into being a fan of the Edmonton Elks as well as the Edmonton Oilers. Because when I first started getting into hockey and started watching hockey, Scout gave me the option, right? What team do you want to cheer for? You have these options. You can cheer for the Edmonton Oilers, or you can cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And
Yeah.
me not, I'm a naive, Mexican girl here that didn't know. I came to the conclusion that I live in Edmonton, so it would make the most sense for me to cheer for the Edmonton Oilers, which I am very, very glad that I did that, made that decision. So, um, that being said, I have been cheering on the Oilers for the past 3 years, and it's been just as fun, and it's been fantastic. I have seen some wins here,
Yeah.
thankfully, at Rogers Place, and it's always a grand old time.
Oh, totally. And then for myself, I'm a Leafs fan, Raptors fan. We both cheer on Stingers wherever we can. For the big ones, Blue Jays, we're going to be going to Toronto here right away to go see our Elks take on the Argos, and then a Blue Jays playoff game, hopefully. And then Leafs versus Habs on that trip. So it might be a little sporty.
Yes.
But yeah, no, big Leafs fan myself. And then Toronto Raptors, obviously a huge fan of these guys all of my life. I was at the championship parade in 2019, so we actually covered that as Shotgun Sports under Shotgun Sports courtside. So
Mhm.
I was actually live reporting or live doing live video feed down at the parade. So that was wild. I've gotten to have some great sports moments. I've seen the Leafs win here a bunch. I've never actually seen the Leafs play in Toronto, so I'm really hoping I get to knock that off the bucket list. Going back to the concert conversation, Steve Benassi and John. So John was saying Rolling Stones concert in the early '90s, Phil Collins, Genesis. Both of them were at the stadium. Rolling Stones, I think after that one, they said they would not play here again, I want to say. Or that was like the last one. It was either that or 2000. That marked the last time that they were playing here. And then Pink Floyd, yes, Steve Benassi, Pink Floyd. Like that is would be an amazing show to see in
That would have
Commonwealth
been, yeah,
Stadium. That
definitely.
would have been amazing. No, I'm not going to Vancouver to see the Raptors. I did see them down in Calgary many years back. Did not get those tickets to Rogers because it was $200 a ticket.
Ooh,
You remember when we were looking at
yeah.
it? Um. Okay, so Catherine,
Mhm.
I guess we're running a little over here. We'll go ahead and wrap this up with the last question. What keeps you going as an Elks fan despite the on-field issues?
Oof. Um, well, I think for myself, it's a little bit different than, say, the long-time super fans. Mostly because, and I mentioned this last time as well, ha being a new fan means that I don't necessarily have the emotional attachment to the Edmonton Eskimos as a lot of people have. Right? I was able to come in with this brand new restructuring. So there are certain things that I know create a lot of issues for super fans or older fans that don't necessarily apply to me. So I'm able to be a little bit more subjective, I guess, in certain aspects of what I see happening with the Edmonton Elks fans. That being said, I do understand the concept of fan loyalty, right? I don't, even though I haven't been a fan for more than 3 years, that doesn't mean that I understand the whole concept of bandwagon fans, as you call them, or fans
Right.
that as soon as they start losing, they decide to jump ship and go somewhere else. I don't believe in that, right? If I made a decision that I am going to cheer for a specific team, regardless of my reasons for it, I am going to stick to those. And I also understand because even though once again I'm a new fan, sports fan, I have been immersing myself in a lot of sports history and seeing a lot of history of different sports fandoms as well, as we see with the Blue Jays or even the Toronto Maple Leafs, right?
Yeah.
That you will always go through periods of bad times. You can't win all the time. And one of the things that I know for sure with the Edmonton Eskimos is that they were perhaps a little spoiled with a lot of really amazing wins and a lot of really good years that now perhaps the fans expect a little bit more of them, which is fine. But there's also that sense that you have to understand that there's always going to be bad times. And just like a couple of our super fans that have been on the show before,
Yeah.
I can't wait until that happens because I haven't had that. I haven't been able to feel a win. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it is like to have that home wing and just absolutely go nuts and scream for your team in Commonwealth. And I
In
can't
common
wait for in Commonwealth.
in Commonwealth, yeah.
And so yeah, I can't wait for that. So that
Well,
is what keeps me going.
and you got to remember, right? Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
No.
Razor Ramon. Gotta love that one. I've been waiting to drop that on you. Yeah, and then I guess I would say for myself, what keeps me going through this? Well, we're the Elks Herd. More importantly, though, I've gotten to be a part of the 2015 Grey Cup season from beginning to end. I've had I've had the pleasure of meeting this team and getting little pieces of Edmonton sports history signed for me. I've had the team have my back as a fan, right from Derek Yeomans all the way down to Christine at the team store. Outside of what we do, and this is, going back many years, Cooper Langley, big shout out to Cooper Langley, wherever he is right now. He was at the team store, and that guy, fixed every single... I screwed up once. And he still fixed my screw up. Like, the Edmonton Eskimos, Edmonton Elks, this organization has treated me really well, and I came in on a losing season. I came in on a really bad season, 2013. Think we weren't on fire because our name was the Eskimos, and we weren't in a 21 game losing streak, and we didn't have all of these issues that we're currently seeing with the team right now. What keeps me going? If this team didn't have Victor Cui at the helm, I don't think I would feel the same as I do right now. Victor finds a way to instill his positivity and his energy in you. Like he somehow, kind of keeps you going, knowing fully well that he's working his derriere off as a fan, and he's going and taking the tongue lashings every day. He's taking the Twitter beatings every day.
And he sees.
Oh, he very obviously sees it. If you take Victor, it's the same thing as us, right? We tell everybody, go ahead and tag us on Twitter. Tag us wherever you want, because we'll go ahead and we'll reshare it, and we'll bring awareness to what you post or tag us in, as long as it's nothing that goes against standard protocols, right? As long as you're not swearing and saying something extremely negative. And there's a difference between negative and constructive. You can always say constructive, like everything we've talked about tonight in the Elks Call, mentioning, hey, what can we add to Commonwealth to improve? That's constructive. Well, this team really has a problem at O-line and we need to solve it. That's still constructive. That's not negative. That's you're stating the facts there. Oh, well, we need to change the name back because this team is cursed. Okay, well, there's your negative, right?
Yeah.
And believe in what you want. We're not going to tell you how to fan. You can say whatever you want. At the end of the day, what we look for is, are you passionate or are you not? If you're passionate, you're trying to be constructive.
Yeah.
That means that you still care. If you don't care, and the people are still talking about the Elks right now, people still care. People still care about this organization. People still care about this team. Yes, the team sucks on the field right now. We all know that. But with things like the tailgate, the kids club, that kids camp was great for the kids. That kids camp was amazing. And the boys walked away from the kids camp with a newfound appreciation, respect, and then they're also throwing spirals like crazy out there now when they throw the ball. So all of those little moments for them, they're going to remember that, and they're more likely to go to games. That's what this team organization. This is what the organization has been missing for years. They've been missing that gap. Get the kids into Commonwealth Stadium and bring them up as fans too, right? So, to end this off, we have here. Yeah, I do need the Razor Ramon toothpick, Steve Benassi, and then yes,
Nope.
John has season tickets to the Elks Stingers and Edmonton Oil Kings. Huge sports ambassador. Thank you, John, for doing all of the sports duties out there. And then as well, he also asked, how many current season ticket holders do you think will renew this September, October? I
That's a
honestly
good
don't know that
question.
number. How many do I think? I want to say around 80% because of the on-field
Yes.
product.
I
And
don't know if we start seeing some improvements.
they may renew.
They may renew.
Right now, I would say an 80% renew rate.
I think it's just what we said. We need wins.
Yeah.
Everything will be a lot better as soon as we start winning, right? And that includes renewals.
Yep.
For that.
No, and then here Chris Jones brought a fan on the field during practice this week. So yeah, so Andrew Hoskins, host of the Turf District podcast, he actually was out there in the stand sitting there, and Chris Jones invited his kid out onto the field. Kid went out and actually did a little bit of practice with the Edmonton Elks. So yes, thanks John for mentioning that, because that's something that we had talked about earlier this week on Twitter. There is many positives around this team. There's many positives. The Popeyes chicken pop-up, like that was a crazy good event. The kids camp, that was great. Practices and bringing kids onto the field and giving them those memories, right? Which is why a lot of us are here. A lot of us are at Commonwealth Stadium to make memories. As if I'm not going to remember every single loss we had this season, right? But after a couple of years, I can tell you that I'm not going to remember every loss. What I'm going to remember is all of the experiences that we've had in the tailgate. Meeting Taylor Cornelius's mom and wife, that was a great experience. Jamin swinging by and making sure that guy got fed on that pork belly. Like, yeah, and we got to have a great conversation. Who else? Victor and his family have rolled through, and they've taken pictures at our speaker's corner. So, speaking of which, before we go, we want to remind everybody, Edmonton Elks tailgate party tomorrow, lot number 44 in lot A. We're going to have Speaker's Corner, so feel free to come and take some pictures at our photo booth called Speaker's Corner. I'm really, really hoping with some infrastructure and IT expertise tonight that a Herdy sign gets made for our meat barbecue section of the tailgate. Herdy's. We have a new Herdy's logo. So it's kind of like our to avoid the copyright
infringement. We got the meat.
But we got the meats. We will be doing up that smoked meatball subs. I have to go to these smoked meatballs right away.
Yes.
Freshly smoking it for you right now.
Yes.
And then tailgate trivia, guys. Anytime you want to come down, ask us a trivia question. Just roll on up to number 44. You're going to see us there. Say, hey, what's the trivia question of the day? And we're going to hit you with one. And then you're going to get some stickers, possibly a keychain, and possibly an Edmonton Elks sticker as well.
Yeah.
So, guys, come on down. It's going to be a good time. You know, like we said, the Edmonton Elks game, sure, we're not winning right now on the field. We may not win tomorrow.
But we'll have a good time.
You're going to be full. You're going to have a good time. You can come hide underneath our rain canopy if you want, and we can be family. We can be family.
My Lord. He's going to make that a thing. He's going to make it a hashtag.
Hashtag family. Guys, thank you so much for this episode. A lot of viewers tonight. A lot of great questions. Just a reminder from John Kirby, TSN Plus is now a paid service within the TSN app. Yes, you do have to pay for it. Guys, thanks again. No, let's see Benassi on one last final thought. Now the darkness only stays the nighttime. In the morning, it will fade away. Daylight is good at arriving at the right time. It's not always going to be this great. George Harrison.
I love
it. Love it. That was a thank you, Steve.
That was a way better closing that we could have done.
Yeah.
We should look up quotes.
And a Rolling Stones one to go
I know.
at that, right? That was beautiful. So yeah, guys, this was an awesome episode. We're gonna go ahead and get it up everywhere right now, and we are gonna get those meatballs off the smoker. Guys, my name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Katherine, aka Do You Even Elks? Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are the Elks Herd, and we are signing off. Cheers, guys.